Okay, so we're going to look at doing some charts and diagrams. So the charts would be kind of like your bar charts and your pie charts and things like that. And we also have diagrams where we can actually put together things like organizational charts and cycles and lists and flow charts and so forth. And they're very easy to do. And it won't take you much effort to really come up with some really nice pictures, basically, of your numbers or pictures of your thoughts, your ideas, which we would put into a diagram. So we're going to start out by getting ourselves a new slide here. So I'll click on the new slide, and we're going to go with the title and content, because built into this title and content layout are buttons that will give us our graphs, our diagrams, and so forth. So all we really have to do is we come into here, we click on to insert chart, just like that. A little dialog box pops up and wants to know the type of chart that you want to put together. Now, we don't have the time to really go through all of these, but if you're interested into really getting in depth with charting and to learn about all the different types of graphs that we have, you can actually look at Excel module number 9. Those videos, we go extensively into most of what you see here, and very, very much detailed. Give you some really good ideas of how to kind of work them and when to use one type of chart or graph over another. But we're just going to kind of keep it more basic here. But still, it's going to be enough for you to be able to actually do your own graphs at some point. And I think the most common type of chart that you can do would be the column type, either the two-dimensional or the three-dimensional. We're going to start out with the two-dimensional. So all we have to do is make sure we got that selected, and this is the only one that we have. So we'll just go ahead and hit OK, and before long, you'll see that pop up. So what happens is you get kind of like a mini worksheet here where you can actually put in your own information to come up with what you see here. Now, to make it kind of realistic here, we'll go ahead and put some data in here. So we'll go over here and we'll type in something like maybe Q TR1, and you'll see how when we do that, it kind of changes it down there. And then we'll do Q TR2, and we can actually, I think in this one, we can actually copy that down. I don't know if it'll, no, it's not going to let us do that. So we'll just put them in here. Okay, so we'll put in there Q3, and we'll do Q4. Okay, pretty powerful. All right, now along the top here, we can put in something like, we'll do maybe Lahaina, and we'll do Tampa, and we'll do Chicago. So we got those 3 territories in there, and we'll leave the numbers alone, but that's pretty much it. So once you've done that, you can then go ahead and close this up, and there's your graph. So, and of course, when you go and do the presentation, that's pretty much how it's going to look on your slideshow. So pretty cool. Hit my escape key there, that'll get me out. Now, while you're on the graph like this, then you get all your chart design and format tools up here to work with. And one of the things we can maybe think about doing here is maybe changing the colors up a little bit. Even though they are kind of matching our overall theme here, I want them to maybe stand out a little bit better. So what you can actually do is go over here where it says change colors, right? And as you hover over these other ones, you can kind of get some different ideas of what you can maybe go with. So you can go maybe something like that, or whatever. And there's a few other ones in here too, pretty much all the same. So I don't know. I think maybe this one. All right, so we click on the palette too. There we go. And we can go up here to the title. Just click up there and we can just type in maybe general product sales 2025 or something like that. And then you can kind of click away from it and there it goes. If you want to make that bigger, you can just click onto it like that. Go back to home, all right, and go ahead and increase the size a little bit. Kind of do something like that. You can make it bold. You can maybe make it shadowed. well, you know, whatever it takes. I can also go down here to the legend and also make it maybe a little bit bigger, all right, and maybe make it bold, all right. Now, some of the other things, little things that you can do as well, is if you decide that maybe you want to put the legend at the top here, well, what you can do is while you got the graph still selected, you can click onto our Elements button here on the right. That pops open, you'll see the legend. You click on that little arrow and you tell it that you want it to be at the top, and there it goes. Now along the side here are the numbers, and we're not quite sure, I mean, just by looking at it, what these numbers are. Let's just say that the numbers are in thousands of dollars or something like that, right? So what you can actually do is, so we can go over here to the Elements button, just kind of click onto that. We can go over here to our Axis Titles, right? We can click that, and what it'll do is it'll put this here and this here. Now we really don't need anything for here because we kind of figure out what that is. We know what that is. Along the side here is what we want. So what we'll do is we'll go over to here and we'll decheck the horizontal, see? And that comes off. And now all we have is this one here, right? So then we kind of click away from it. And then we can go ahead and just do a double click, or just a click on there, I'm sorry. Click on there like that. And we can put in something like, thousands of dollars, right? That's it. Kind of click away from it. There we go. If we need to, we can click back onto it, go back to Home, make it bold, make it maybe a little bit bigger. There we go. Now, what we can do is change this up a little bit as far as what the graph shows us or displays. I would like to maybe flip this around and show each of my different territories, and then have the quarters as far as that goes, right? So right now we've got the quarters broken down by territory. We want to switch this to being territory broken down by quarters, all right? Now to do that, while we're in the graph, we can go back up here into the chart design. Now to do that, normally we would go to the chart design and we would have this thing here called switch row column. We're not able to do that here for whatever reason, all right? So we can get around it though. What we can do here though is go over here to the select data. So if we click onto that, all right, then this thing opens back up again, and you can see how we've got our legend being the territories, and we've got our axis being the quarters like you see. So all you have to do is you can point to here, click onto that, that flips it, all right? And then you just go and hit OK, and it flips it around there, and then you can close this up, and there you go. So now we've got that. So then you say to yourself, well, I kind of like both. You know, how can I have it both ways? Well, what you could do then, and I'll just close this up for now. What you can do then is make a duplicate of this. In other words, we'll shrink this down, and on the left side will be the original, but on the right side we'll have it flipped. So we're just going to make a duplicate. So what we'll do here, first of all, is while we've got it selected, I'll go here to the 3 o'clock position here, graphic handle, and drag that. Now, this would be the midpoint here, so maybe what I'll do to give it some space here, maybe get about a half or a quarter inch here, if you look at the ruler at the top there, let go, and there we got that, right? Now we might even go as far as maybe clicking onto here, going over to Home, and maybe reducing the size just a little bit, something like that. And even maybe take this one here also and reduce the size on that as well, all right, just to kind of make it look a little bit better. Now, we can take this and make a duplicate of it. Now, an easy way to do that would be just to click on the frame here, and then on the keyboard, you just hit Control and the letter D. And we've done that in previous videos. And when we do that, that makes a duplicate. And then I can take the duplicate and drag that over on this side, see? And you can kind of get about right there, I think. And that's good. So there we have both of them. Now, I can take either one and flip it around. So in this case, what I'll do, maybe I'll take the second one here. So I'll click onto that, all right? And then I'll go back up while I've got this thing in here. Go back to my chart design up at the top, all right? Go to my select data, just like that. And again, I'll flip it. And then by doing that right there, and then hit OK, and now I've got it going that way. And then I can close that up, and there we go. So now, like I said, we've got the best of both worlds. All right, so that, I think, is a good portrayal of your information. I mean, we see it in two different lights. Now, what I'd like to do is take the same data and have in each of the graphs the bars stacked on top of one another. So I can actually stack all of Lahaina and Tampa and Chicago on top of one another to see which territory did the best, or I can do the same thing with the quarters to see which quarter did the best and the worst. All right. Now, I probably could try and squeeze these into where I could get 4 different graphs, but I think probably the better way of doing this would be to actually duplicate our slide here, all right, and on that duplication, make them both where they're stacked, right? So to do that, I can just go to this guy right here. Easy way would be just to do a right click on it, and I can hit duplicate slide, and there's my duplicate. So here was the original, and now here's my duplicate. So now in this duplicate, I'll click onto the graph here, right? And I'll go back into chart design, and then we'll go here and we'll tell it to change chart type. So we click onto that, and we go ahead with this one right here. And this is the stacked, all right? So we do that, hit OK, and there's the stack. So it looks like Lahaina came in first, Tampa came in last. So that's kind of a neat thing there. Same thing over here, and click on this one there. Click on to my change chart type. Click on to the stacked, hit OK, and now I can actually see that the 4th quarter did the best. Now, it's up to you if you want to maybe even try to get both of these underneath these guys here on one slide. Now, another little option that we have is making these bars a little bit wider. They're a little skinny, I think. A lot of extra space in there and all. So what we can do is point to any one of them. So we'll start maybe on this one here. I'll double click that. Opens up a panel, and you'll see over here the gap width. Now, if I reduce that gap width, it reduces the gap between each of the territories in that case. So I bring it down maybe 50%, I get something like that. So that might be another look that you might want to have. So I can do it there, and I can do a double click on this one here and get the same thing. So I'll go back and I have to click on this 3rd icon for the series options, and again take that gap width and kind of bring that back down to a smaller amount, and there we go. And I can close that up, and that makes it look a little bit nicer as well. All right, so pretty nice. I'm going to do one more here, but we're going to do, in this case, a line graph to give you a little idea with that one. And I'm just going to use the same data. And to save time, what I'll do is I'll take, slide 11 here, which I'm looking at right now, right-click it, duplicate it, and now there it is. Now, what I'm going to do is I want to focus on this type of graph here. So I'm going to click on this one here, click onto it, hit the delete, wipe it out, and then I can go ahead in here and make this. Now, for some reason, all this mess has come up here. So I think a good way to fix this would be, while I'm on number 12 here, and go back to the Home tab, go to my Layout, and just tell it that I want to do a title only. So if I do the title only, then that gets rid of all that garbage in the back, and then I can take this graph and go ahead and make it wider. That's kind of like a little quirk, I think, with the program. So there we have it on that one. Now, what I want to do here is take this and make it into a line graph, right? So very easy to do. We just go back up into Chart Design. We click on the Change Chart Type, and this time we just go over here to Line, all right? And just hit OK. And there we go with the line. I'm not a real big fan of line charts, mainly because of what you're seeing right here. They're all kind of tangled all over. But it does give you a sense of, okay, for this one right here, which happens, this one happens to be the Chicago. It's the last one here. It's flat line, and it kind of continues to go up after the 2nd quarter. So, I mean, it kind of shows you that. But I don't know. I mean, if I look at something like this or something like this, don't I get the same idea, right? So, but anyway, I just wanted to show you how that looked. Now, you can also keep these from being on top of each other by going back up into your chart design, go to change chart type, and tell it that we want to do kind of like a stacked line. And I'm going to do the stacked line with markers here, okay? So I click onto that, hit OK, and there we go. And what it does, it lays one on top of the other. It's a little misleading because it makes it look like this one's doing better than this one, and this one's doing better than this one. But what we're trying to show here really is how they went from, how they went down or up or sideways or whatever they did. And it just gives you a better way of kind of seeing that. But you can't really rely on these guys here. Because, for instance, this point right here is not 9,000. It's like, or 9 or whatever it is. It's actually a value of 2. And that means from this point here to this point here is 2, right? So that's what it's showing there. So it's a little deceiving. Now what you could do is you can put on there something called data labels, okay? So while I've got the graph selected here, I go back to here, there's my data labels. I click onto that, and there they go. And I can click away, and now you can actually see, the difference there. And, back to the beginning when we were kind of talking about the coloring and all that, if this one is just way too light to be able to see, you can actually point to that one, just kind of click onto it, right? And then go back into the format up here, and we can tell it that we want the shape fill, right, to be, let's say, I don't know, oh, not shape fill, I'm sorry, the shape outline here, and we can actually do a different color here, see? So I can go maybe with green, all right? So I click onto that, and that at least it makes it a little bit easier to see, all right? Okay. All right, now I want to show you one more type of graph we're going to do here. It's called a combination chart, where we're actually going to have a combination of both bar and line. So I have two different types of graphics depicting our numbers. And what I'm going to first of all do is, again, I'm going to use the same information, but I'm going to kind of modify it a little bit, add one more thing to it. But what I'll do is I'll just take this graph here, all right, or this slide, and make a duplicate of it. So I'll just go back here and hit, not delete, duplicate slide, right, or duplicate, right, and there it is. And then I'm going to go back and change the chart type first of all. So I'm just go back to chart design, go to my change chart type, and we're going to go with a stacked bar here. So we're going to go back to the column here. We're going to do the stack, hit OK. And actually what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do a whole different graph because I'm thinking about the data that I have in there. So we're going to come up with a whole different graph. So I'm going to go back into, back to home here. And we're going to go back and we're going to tell it we're going to do a new slide. And we'll do our title and content like we did before. And then I'm going to go ahead and click onto our insert chart and hit OK. And there it goes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this data with some other data that I'm going to copy into here to save some time here, okay? So with the magic of video, I'm going to go ahead and copy, basically I'll show you what we got here. I'm going to copy this data into there, okay? So I'll just go ahead and kind of select the area here. Well, actually I'll pause the video, but basically I would select the area, all right? And I just do a right click on it, I hit copy, all right? And then I go ahead and paste it. So, and voila, there we go. So I've got that, there's my data. And I'm gonna go ahead and close this up, don't need any more, and there we go. Now, when you look at the data, what you're seeing here are totals for each of these different product categories, right? And we also then next to it have the cost of goods. In other words, when we look at longboards here, we did a total of whatever, that is, a little over 25,000, and we had a cost that was, a little bit less. But with the snowboards or shortboards here, we have more in expense than we did in revenue. So we actually lost money selling shortboards, all right? So we want to show all of this. And I'll tell you, the way it is right now, I mean, the most I would probably do is maybe click onto this bar here. I would go back up into format. I would click onto the shape fill, all right? And I'd find another color, maybe a little bit darker, something like that. maybe more of a red, you know, to show that that's the red part. But whatever, you know, whatever floats your boat. I'll just go ahead with this one here, okay? So there it is, right? So that would make it look a bit better. But what I'm thinking is I'd rather maybe actually see a line, you know, convert this stuff into a line and have that line go through there, and anything above, any bar that's above that line is telling us that we made money. Below the line, then we lost money. So it's just another way of kind of showing the information. Now to do this, to make this happen, what we do is we click onto the bar that we want to change the graphic of, all right? So we want to change this into a line graphic, right? So we click onto that. We go back into chart design. We go over here to where it says change chart type, and this comes up, and it shows us that the total and the cost of goods is both, you know, this clustered column. We're going to change the cost of goods, though, from a cluster to just a line with markers, right? So we do that, and it's going to look like that there. We hit OK, and there we go. And of course, we can still click on that line, go back into format, and do the shape outline. We can say, well, let's make that one, you know, really kind of stand out there, maybe like a red, you know? And there we go. That's pretty cool. And for this one, I would probably even go as far as double clicking it and bringing this over here down to make it a little bit thicker looking, make it stand out more. And there we go. So that's pretty much how you would do a combination type chart. And I could very easily just go up to here, type in something like category, sales 2025, something like that. Click back onto it, go back to home, make it a little bit bigger, make it bold, make it shadowed, all that good stuff. Then I might even take the legend, so I'll click over here on the elements, right? Go to legend, right? And change the legend to being at the top. Click onto that, make it a little bit bigger, right? There we go. And there you have it. All right, now the next graphic that we're going to do here is something called a diagram. And we use a feature called SmartArt to make this happen. And there's just a ton of different diagrams that you can put together. They all are pretty much put together the same way. So regardless if you're doing a flow chart or an organizational chart, anything like that, it's all pretty much the same methodology, as you'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a brand new slide here. So I'll click on a new slide, title and content, right? And over here in this title and content, we've got this little icon here, which is the SmartArt graphic, aka a diagram. So we go ahead and click onto that. This comes up, and I'll tell you, we've got lists, we have processes, we have cycles, hierarchies, which is like the organizational chart, relationships, matrices, pyramids, pictures, and a bunch of stuff on office.com. Now, we don't have enough time to do all of these, but like I said before, as long as you know how to do one, you'll be able to do any of the other ones. That's how easy it is. So here's what we're going to do first of all. Let's say that we want to start out with a list. All right, we're going to create a list. Or actually, I'm sorry, a process here. So we're going to go with process. And we've got a number of different ones that we can go with, different designs. What's really cool about it though is if you pick one and then you start filling it with information and then you decide, oh, I would rather go with this design over here, it will automatically take all that information that you put in and transfer it over to that new graphic. So you don't lose any, you might lose something, but you're not going to lose all your work. All right. So we start out with process, and I'm going to go with this one right here, this alternating flow, as they call it. So I click onto that. That's what it's going to look like. Hit OK, and there we go. Now what happens is it creates, in this case, 3 major headings, as you see here, titles, and then we have like bullet points within it. All right, pretty interesting. But as you can see, it's all done using bullets, and that's the key, is that I don't care which one you go with, it all is driven by filling in the bullets. So I'm going to start out with the first one. I'm going to call this one, let's say, phase 1. Then I'll go down to here. I'll make this phase 2. And the next one will be, let's say, phase 3. All right. All right, now, then on this one, maybe I'll call this one step 1, or I'll say step A. And then I can just hit my down arrow key, and this will be, I can't even type here, step B. All right, got to remember my alphabet there. And again, this one might be step C, and then we'll do step D, and this will be step E. You probably figured that one out, and we'll do step F. All right, there we go. And by the way, too, if you come in here one day and you don't see that bulleted list, you just kind of point to this guy right here, click it, and it opens up. We can also detach it and kind of just move it up here a little bit and extend it down here in case we're maybe going to be adding more in here. It'll be easier to see more at one time, right? Now, you do all these and you're sitting there saying, well, I think I also need to do one more phase. It'll be, let's say, phase 4. So what you do then is you go to the end of the last one here. We hit the enter key. Now, when you do that, it thinks, oh, you must be trying to put another item in phase 3. And notice what it did here. It resized everything. Pretty nice. So in the olden days, when you try to do this just by hand, like, you know, drawing your own boxes and stuff like that, you had a lot of catching up to do every time you made a change. So this is all automatic for you. So, but I need to get this back one, right? So what I can do then is while I'm here, I can go up here, and this is in the SmartArt Design tab. I have something called Promote. Now when I click onto that, it brings that now to this level and now knows that I wanted to create a 4th phase here, right? So now I can just type in phase 4, hit the enter key. Now I don't want another phase, I want to go in a level. So then I go and I hit demote up here, and that goes in, and then I can type in something like step G, and then the next one, and then hit the enter key, and I got step H, right? Okay, there we go. Pretty cool. And then when you're all done, you can close this up if you don't need to add anything more, and there you go. And there's your graphic. Now you can click onto here, right? If you think this is a little bit big, and you can go ahead and you can resize this. So we can go in the corner here, bring it in a little bit like that, make it a little bit smaller, and then you can go ahead and kind of drag this over if you wanted to. But, you know, it's up to you how you feel it should look, but not bad. Okay, so that's pretty easy to do. And if you wanted to go even further, you could actually maybe resize this. Remember what we did with the pie or the bar chart, where we had reduced the size of it, made it half the size, and made a duplicate of it, and then did something else on the other side there. So you can do something like that too if you wanted to. But we'll keep it simple here and just kind of go with this. But this is, I think, a really good little tool there. Now, I want to show you one more of these, and this is going to be doing an organizational chart. A lot of people like organizational charts. Usually, you'll try to maybe use a program like Visio, but Visio is a pretty expensive program, and a lot of people don't have availability to that. So, but this program has a great little generator for the organizational chart, and you might as well, you know, take advantage of it. So, what we'll do then is I'll go back and we'll do a new slide. Again, title and content. Click onto our little SmartArt here, and now here we'll go to the hierarchy, and you can pick any of these you want. Now, I would suggest that you start out with the standard one, plain old one, and then you can go back and change it to any of these other designs if you want to, right? And it'll still keep all your information. So you start out simple, and we can make it somewhat complex if we wanted to. So you go ahead and you click onto this one here. There you go. Hit OK, and there we have it. All right, now our little bullet point is closed here, that list, because we had closed it on the previous one. So we just go and click onto there. That opens it back up again. So what you end up with here on the very top one would be your big kahuna, your president or whatever it is, who's ever at the top of the department. You'd put their name in there. Then this little soft return icon is giving you then maybe an assistant, something like that. And then the 3 here are your 3, you know, subordinates. It could be president or vice presidents, whatever they happen to be. Now, how do we do this? Well, first of all, we'll put in here maybe king coconut. All right, there we go. I think I spelled that right. Anyway, so we do that. Now I can hit the down arrow key. That takes me down to here. And then we can say little coconut. All right, how about that, huh? All right, and then I can hit my down arrow key again, and I can put in here, let's say Beavis. All right, and then we can go hit the down arrow key. We can type in maybe Bart, and we can type in, let's say, Lurch. Okay, so there's our three guys there. Now, what we can also do, if we wanted to, is hit the enter key, and that will then give us a fourth one. So let's say we wanted to put in there, let's say Gomez. All right. Or actually, we'll do Maria here. Okay. Oop. All right. So there it is. So we got the four there, and it just keeps on going and going. Now, obviously, you're probably going to have more people working under these ones here. So what you would do is let's say first of all start out with Beavis, hit the enter key at the end there, and you can then demote. But now there's a shortcut also that you can do, and you can actually just hit the tab key, and that will demote you, right? And we can put in, I'll just put in there P1, I'll just say person 1, make it simple. Hit the enter key, P2, right? Enter key, and you see how everything's kind of shrinking up for us here, see? So that's going to be P3 and P4, all right? Pretty simple. And I'm just going to hit my backspace. I didn't really want to do that one. All right, so there we go on that one. Now, I go further down here, down the list, and I go to Maria, all right? And on Maria, we're going to go ahead, hit the enter key, hit the tab key, and then for Maria, we'll put in there, let's say maybe P5, P6, P7, and P8, all right? Just like that. And I think that will do it. I'm noticing something a little bit off with this, and I'm noticing here that this is looking a little bit odd here. I think what happened was that Bart ended up getting promoted to like King Coconut level there, see? And you can see how Bart is up there at the top. All we have to do there, I don't know how that happened, I probably hit some key, but I can just click right there, tell it to demote Bart, and there we go. Takes care of it real quick. Now, this looks a little, I mean, it's okay, it's readable and everything else, and I'm going to go and close this up. But what I'd like to do is get this a little bit more kind of spread out here. Maybe where I have like a P1, P2, P3, P4 kind of thing. So I've got them like paired up. Now to do that, I click on a Beavis, right? And then I go over, and this is in my SmartArt design, right? And I've got over here something called layout. So I can click on the layout, and I can tell it that I want to do a standard. Now, if I click on a standard, I get that, all right? And that's, I guess that would be okay. And I can do the same thing with Maria. I can click on there, make that also a standard, right? But it's, well, and you know, that looks okay to me for the most part. But I'm thinking that I'd rather it be where they're paired, okay? So what I'll do is I'll go back to Beavis here, go to my layout, and I'm going to do the both one, right? And that gives me that pairing I was talking about, right? Then I go back here to Maria and do the same thing with that one, do a both on that, and now I've got that. And that's pretty good. And, I mean, you can go on and on with this, but again, my point is that as long as you work with the levels there, you can go as far as you want to go, I mean, within reason. Now I can go back in here and I can make this just a little bit smaller, just like that. And then maybe even go and make it a little bit wider this way, see? And there we go. Click away from it. And again, too, while you're on it, you can also change the colors. And I like this one with the colorful because you can get like multiple colors on each level here. You can do that. Or you can go with just standard, you know, same coloring on each. But you can do maybe something like, they all are pretty pathetic. Click on that one there. Oh, that's pretty bad. No, not even do that one. But you can pick something, right? And then you can maybe go to one of them, right? Click onto it, go to your format, and change the fill to maybe a little bit different color. So maybe a little bit darker one for that one for whatever reason, and kind of have it like that. So it's up to you. You've got, you know, these different effects here. I can go to maybe the top one here and go to the shape effect and give it kind of like a shadow. And I can do that for all of them too, but let's just say I do it for the top one there. And there way I get a nice little shadowing effect there. If I want to do it to all of them, I think I can just click onto it like this, get everything selected, go back to my shape effects here, go to the shadow, and go ahead and click onto that. And no, I can't. So what I'll have to do is click onto this one, and I think I can just do a control key, click on this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. I can also do that lasso effect. That, oh, wonderful. You get the idea. Okay. I know this video's been kind of a long one here, but got a lot to kind of cover here. So do all those. I go back to my shape effect, shadow, go with this one here, and now look at that. That looks pretty good there. Click away from it. Now later on when I do the presentation, that's what you're going to see. Maybe put a title at the top there, but it'll look pretty good. All right. All right, so I'm really sorry about the length of the video here, but hopefully you got some good information out of this. It's a good little tool here to work with. Oh, you know what? I just thought of something else. Let me just show you one other little thing here, and then we'll go. You can actually click onto any one of these boxes, right, and take your arrow key that's on the keyboard, hit the right arrow key, and you can kind of move the box around. Now that's not going to be very good for maybe doing Maria here, but we could also maybe take something like maybe this one here and make it kind of stand out by bringing it out like this using the arrow keys, or you can actually just take your mouse and drag it as well. That'll do the same thing. All right. And that's why I like to use the keyboard, because you're less likely to kind of go off kilter there. Now I got to click onto here and maybe hit the down arrow, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Okay. Anyway, I'll leave you alone. This is it. We're done. So appreciate you watching the video. Look forward to seeing the next one with you. Take care.